Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to KBN Live. We took a week off, little best of show last week, Ryan.
But we're fantastic.
Back. Yeah, you were hitting the road. You went to a special birthday party, right? You had a couple.
Yeah, Co's birthday party out in Frisco, Texas. We stayed at like the Westin Stonebriar Golf Resort and pool partied all day with a bunch of giant sweaty dudes. it was like hot dog water out there. It was fantastic. We had a really good time.
Yeah. Then I saw, was it your daughter's birthday this week? I saw the
so her birthday was Sunday, so I went and took her some flowers and shoes and little stuff, and then I flew out to Texas, and then we did our joint birthday dinner. Mine's next Thursday, so Saturday on the farm we did our joint birthday dinner, and I surprised her with Morgan Wallen tickets. She knows how I feel about Morgan Wallen, which is not great. So that, I think that meant a lot to her. That I was willing to swallow my own opinions and take her.
Yeah, we got a special birthday coming up this Saturday, man. Little Roro turns 2.
Hey, let's go! All them July babies.
Yeah, after all that she went through, she is about to turn 2. So
love it. Leos are tough. She ain't got a choice.
All right, we got Jared in the chat saying, "What about that 130 Bonafide? Mind blown." That's the lead into what we're doing.
We got it. Don't worry, we got it coming, and we got the man with the answers too. So this is the show to get all your grievances off your chest. Yeah, don't be shy. Hans has been around for a while in the game. You know him from Wildy, I believe, Jeff. Yes, he did a tremendous job over there, and then went and helped start Bonafide, and he's stayed on with Bonafide since their transition to the Big Adventures family.
Yeah, so we got him coming in to talk about the new XTR 130. I tried to pull it up on the Icast new product showcase, and it's not even on there, which is weird. I know that Wildy ended up winning the tactical.
That's like a Johnny boat or something, isn't it? Yeah. Like that. I mean, that honestly looks like a pond hopper clone. I was shocked that the Bonafide didn't win. And we'll get into that later, but I like a lot of the features that they integrated into that Bonafide. Like, it looks like a very well thought out platform for the way the tournament scene is right now.
Yeah, and I kind of poked at it with some posts on the group, but I put on the end of the post that I made, like, hey, look, I'm kind of poking at it as a old school, pond hopper or whatever, but it's still a cool looking platform.
Yeah,
it's kind of a cool.
No, it looks awesome,
man.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks cool. So I know the talk is what's a kayak, what's a boat, and all that kind of stuff. Hey, I haven't seen actual kayakers in this game in a while. These guys are fishing, so they're making fishing platforms, right?
Do people not? I mean, I don't know how many people are well versed in the history of of the game here, but our own pal AJ McWhorters, he used to have that PA-17 out there bumping with the motor guide on the front. Like, it's hard to to cast shade one direction or another when we've had things like a PA-17s in tournaments. We've had the Blue Sky, which isn't a kayak at all. It's like a pontoon boat, that you would see at a carnival or something. I don't know, why all of a sudden people are up in arms that dimensionally, that kayak's about the same size as like the Titan 13.5, for instance, that was accepted from the get-go. I mean, you got pro anglers that are huge too. This is wider than the pro angler, but I mean, it's not like it's, you know, something out of this world. It's just bigger. And I think because they put 2 seats in it and graphs and a guy standing on the deck, and everybody's like, oh shit, I can't stand my son dolphin won't hold me on the deck. That ought not be allowed. I don't know where people draw the line.
Yeah. I mean, they got the DP going on, motors in front and back, options, but tournaments aren't allowing that, but they're ahead of the game. They'll allow it eventually, I bet.
I mean, it's heading that way, pal.
Yeah. So a lot of other things debuted at Icast as well. And to talk about it, somebody that was actually on scene there, we've got a special guest tonight, Ryan.
He is special. If I had to pick a descriptive term for this young man, it's special.
We're gonna bring him in. We'll shout out the sponsors real quick. Then we'll bring any guesses of who our guest is that was at the show. Put it in the comments. He's been on the show a couple times before. Ryan and I have both been on his show, a fellow podcaster. So any guesses, we'll bring him in here in just a minute. But shout out to our sponsors real quick. Yeah, ecofishingshop.com. They'll have all these boats. They're going to have that Bonafide, that KR Bonafides. They're going to have that XTR 130 when they shoot them out there. You know, this was kind of an expansion on that power. Was it called the 129 power? Mm-hmm. That other Bonafide that's rigged for motors. So they're kind of out in front of that game where they're already pre-rigged. So get those at Ecofishing. Also get your batteries and motor needs over there at Eco if you're just trying to load up whatever boat you have. Son Vodka, of course, appreciate them. Official drink of KBN Live and ProGuide Lithium. Seemed like lithium was down there at Icast. A lot of lithium companies.
I saw ProGuide had a really nice booth down there too. I saw several shots of the booth. It looked awesome.
Yeah, so they came out with some new things. You can get over on their Instagram and check that out. They've got some updates with some new products that they debuted at Icast as well. And then if you saw, as the thing was ticking by to go live there, the countdown, we're doing a Revo giveaway, another Revo giveaway night. So hit that like and share. We were going to have somebody from Zman on tonight too, to talk about their new baits, but they won best freshwater product, right? The Shadtron.
They did, and Jose wants to come back on, and we'll talk about, you know, some of the new releases from Z-Man more in depth. He is feeling a little under the weather too, like many people that made it out of Icast alive. So we're gonna let everybody get on the mend, and we will have Jose back on to talk. I mean, he is the mastermind behind the designs of these baits.
Yeah. So the Shadtron took that down.
Todd.
He's Trump 2024. Man, we can get into politics. We got a freaking coup happening before our eyes right now. Before our eyes. It's insane.
Oh boy.
We've been hearing insurrection for 3 years and there's one happening right now. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna talk Icast tonight. Here we go. Did I leave anybody out? Gill, did Gill debut anything down there?
They had some. I saw Lee Rose post about like some new sun shirts and stuff they had coming out, but I don't know of any major rain gear innovations.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, with that said, let's get somebody that was on the floor, our special guest tonight, to talk about what he thought of Icast 2024. Armando, Kayaks and Beers. What's up, man?
I don't know how I feel about the whole special talk. Like, you lean into it so much that it's like, is this good? Is this bad? Especially in what kind of way?
It's great. We keep bringing you back, so it's
special ed, or
you mean special like we like you, not special like short bus special. Like
we like that's cool. Like you have a special place in our hearts, Armando.
Thank you, appreciate that, man. Folks. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're good, man. Ryan thinks I have COVID. He's recovering from.
Well, it's well.
I'm pretty confident I got it last week in Texas. Like there were several of us that just felt like absolute hell last week.
You're supposed to get it in November. That's when you're supposed to get it.
Well, I missed the schedule, pal. I was been out in the garage trying to pack everything for Susky. I'm gonna try to get out of here in the next day or two. I got a couple hospital stops I got to make on the way up. But I've invented this new game that I like to play with myself. Where I take something really important that's absolutely mission critical on my kayak, and I clean out my truck and I put it in a bag, and then I hide the bag somewhere in my garage. So there's a Newport throttle lost in space somewhere. If anybody sees that, please let me know, because I'd like to use it up there. Would be cool.
I missed my chance to say, does this involve a couch, Ryan? Since we were talking politics, but anyway,
we're not, Jeff. You are. You and Todd are talking politics.
Running.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, terrible.
You want the Susky, Jeff?
No. You have to fish if you get. You
That's
gotta
a
fish if
fishing
you go there.
tournament.
That's a fishing tournament, dude.
Ain't no way I'm signing up for that.
You must be kidding.
This year I thought was going to be the year, but couldn't pull it off. But maybe next year.
Yeah,
You have to. Have you fished it before, Armando?
No, I would love to, man.
Dude, you have to. It's so much fun,
know.
especially pre-fishing before 200 people beat the shit out of
Yeah.
fish all week. Pre-fishing is phenomenal.
I bet.
You're gonna drive up if you
Look
ever
at
go or
this.
fly up, Armando. What do you think?
I'll probably fly out, man. Get my.
I would
lodge,
definitely
sit
fly out. It's a
there.
10-hour drive from my house, so
It's a
probably.
24-hour drive.
I was gonna say it's
20.
probably at least 20 for you.
Shout out to all my Texas peep. Lance McCorder, I know he's going. Wesley Gray, I know she's going. I think both of them are driving. So yeah, I know a few of the guys here are driving up there. So,
Crazy stuff.
Yep.
It is Husky week though, so should be fun. It's always fun to watch the results roll in, even though I've never.
Jake Harshman told me I can go with there and spoon with him. So next year. So.
You better take him up on that.
Pennsylvania, man, it's wild up there. Well, man, you're back from Icast. You were on the floor there, boots on the ground. What did you think, first of all, just of the show in general?
It didn't have the controversy that it had last year. By that I mean the copying bait scandals, whatever people made out of it, and I didn't see any like the frisbee or the trident that was 2 years ago. I didn't see anything like, what the heck is this? What are we doing here? Nothing like that. So it was business, all business, nothing, not a lot of hoopla, but I felt like this year was bigger than previous years after COVID. Like I went immediately after COVID. I've gone for the last 3 years, and the year after COVID, everybody told me, "Oh, this is not even close to what it used to be." So I think it's getting to that point.
It's kind of building back.
Yeah,
I heard there was some kind of hacky sack tournament or something going on down there too at the convention center. Is what AJ had alluded to. They had some sort of indoor soccer thing at part of the convention center.
That thing is so big. It's crazy because you think you're gonna, run into everybody that you know. And I mean, I saw Alex Rod because I know he's always at the Pier 1, and so is what's his name? Bailey Eichert. But other than that, I mean, I looked for everyone that I knew that was there, and I couldn't find them anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it's big, man. Until you get there, you don't realize how big, how much square feet or whatever it is in there. It's pretty big.
I appreciate you, Robert. She's a good one.
I'm looking through the new product showcase here, man. 975 products in the new entries on their website over here. Name a few things that caught your eye.
Man, I don't know how popular this company is on the cesspool, but Yak Attack, man. Yak Attack is leading the innovation on kayak accessories. Right now, I have to put him head and shoulders above anybody else building kayaks accessories. It's kind of like Lego building blocks. You mix and match stuff. I mean, they got everything you can imagine for a kayak accessory, like way ahead of what anybody out there is making. Their short stack box and the Black Box Pro, I mean, they're not new, but the way they're integrating different things to, again, kind of like build on it is pretty cool. Their leaderboard last year when they had the prototype on the show, I talked about it on my podcast, my Icast episode of 2023, and I did not like the leaderboard at all. I thought it was not durable at all. There were a lot of things that needed to be fixed, but now I saw the new leaderboard and it's pretty cool. I mean, for tournament anglers and tournament directors, that little mirror that tells you how much separation you have, and you can actually say, well, if the mount is open this big, this is how much should be deducted. And it's, that I think helps out tournament directors, although I think the vast majority are still going to have catch board until that becomes
So the
more
question
popular.
for me is, with that leaderboard, most tournaments now they check your board and they put that sticker over the bump board part. What's the next move? Are they gonna put a little sticker at the top, or what are they gonna do, different to signify that it's been inspected?
Well, the sticker, more than signify that it's inspected, is for now, and Steve Owens can speak to this. Now they put like a huge white sticker. It used to be a little small sticker. Now it's a huge white sticker, so you can tell if the fish's mouth is up against the board. So I mean, that takes care of that.
Right, but I mean, now what are the how are the tournaments going to adjust? I guess is the question to accommodate the leaderboard, because I assume it's going to be accepted, across the board for use next year. That's my prediction. That's what I think. I think it's a great board. I like that they've integrated the card holders and stuff like that. So you can have your ID easily visible. The marker thing, where your smallest cull is, that's a feature that's been kicked around for years that nobody ever really did anything with. So I expect that to be on the market next year for tournament anglers on the big stuff for sure.
And they got it. I know there were some people mentioning that the glare when you take the picture on the orange board was not good, but I think now they have like a dune color. So that I think is probably going to be even better than that orange one. So
I wouldn't see that. Like the black and green catch boards were the worst to try to tell where the tail of the fish was, because it just blended in so well. But I think the orange would be fine, honestly.
Yeah, I see Duke in the comments talking about we need 4 different stickers the size of your pinky nail for verification. Duke will remember this. Back in the day, there was people on site, especially at the old Lake Fork tournaments. They would drill a hole in the end of your board and put a metal
key tag type deal.
Yeah, key tag through it to verify. Maybe we can start doing that again.
Steve Fields, a big key tag guy. You got that's how you know if you're back on time, if your key tag's hanging up.
Yeah. And you said you weren't sure how fond the cesspool was of Yak Attack, Armando? You understand that's why we are named the cesspool.
I know. I don't know if I wanted to open up with that one. I'm like, let's
we will forever be grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's trademarked or not, but we appreciate it.
Yeah,
we accept all negative comments here.
They really do have some great accessories. Like I said, everything's integrated. Yeah,
Yak Attack has been leading the way in kayak accessories though since kayak fishing started. Like that, I mean, I don't think there's any argument there. From the camera mounts to phone holders, and I know there was whatever division between them and Ram at one point, but I mean, Yak Attack's always been kind of at the forefront of kayak accessory development.
And they're getting into 2 markets where previously there was only one company. Kayak Cushions has some competition now because they're building their own version of a kayak cushion. And of course,
I was wondering how long that would would go. Elrod's had a great run, but innovation wise, proprietary, I don't know what you can market with a cushion, what you're able to copyright from that extent. But I'm honestly shocked that there hasn't been another cushion come out because that makes all the difference in the world. We couldn't use them in Hobie Worlds, and every one of us felt it. Like that's the best money you can spend for sitting down all day,
especially on cheaper kayaks. But I've never had a problem with the PA14. Like I've never used kayak cushion. I'm assuming I'm missing out on something. I just ignorance,
comfort mostly. Yeah, it seems to be my sacrum. Like L5S1 seems to be the target area there.
There we go. That's medical technical terms. I'm assuming. But
hey, if you want to pinpoint it, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've been working all day, Armando. Damn it, I'm in the zone.
Other than that, I don't know if I'm again another one that I'll mention. I know you guys are with Pro Guide, but Norsk Lithium, which is
turn him off.
Damn it, Armando.
I told you we shouldn't have brought him on.
They're my sponsor, but in reality, their batteries are amazing. Their new features are pretty cool. They have they're small portable batteries. They always have that little button where you can tell how much life you have left, but now they're bigger batteries for trolling motors and sonars. It has that little button that you can check, hey, how many bars you have. It also has this other button, which is deep sleep. So if you leave your, I mean, granted, I'm going by what I was told. If you leave your, your battery in your garage and you haven't charged it, it'll lose, amps little by little. But this one is allegedly, once you're done, you press the deep cycle and it completely, from what I understand, it disconnects in some way or form from the negative
power board, like the management board or whatever.
Yes, and it avoids any phantom loss of amps, what I was told. Other than that, the Guardian app that goes with it is pretty cool. I got my new battery for Norsk, and one of the things they asked me is like, hey, run it dry, keep an eye on the app, let us know, give us feedback. And I have the 24 amp 50 amp battery, 24 volt 50 amp battery. The Guardian app is pretty cool. It'll tell you, hey, how much, if you're running at this speed, not speed, but like percentage, like if you're going at 50%, 70%, or 100%, it'll tell you this is how much life you got left on your battery. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool. Almost caught up to Pro Guide. Good stuff.
I gotta say that.
Sorry, buddy. That's cool. A lot of cool products look like down there. Ryan looks like our expert, our SME on these Bonafides, the designer himself.
Guest of honor. We'll call him the guest of honor. We'll give him all the credit in the world.
The guest of honor for this unbelievable boat that was made. Let's bring him in.
Let's do it.
Hello, sir.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. Good
Consider yourself lucky. Buddy, you made some waves on this new boat, and I don't understand all of the all of the viewpoints, why there's so much uproar. But tell us about this thing, man. Like, obviously we saw, some walkthrough videos and then, the media package that Bonafide put out. But tell us kind of the ideology behind this and what some of the key features are.
Yeah. Well, apparently it turned into kind of a Rorschach test, like people were just like, you hold up the ink blot and see what everybody thinks they see, Yeah,
Steven Sisto, he was the first one to make. Never mind. Go ahead.
What's that?
Just ignore Jeff and continue on with your.
I mean, he did that. He looked at the design. He came up with his own.
Right.
He thought it was some sort of phallic shape. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, clearly it's built for pleasure, but I thought it was fishing.
Yeah, no, it's totally like I talk about that all the time when it's like you're designing stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I finally did it on this one, So it happens. But the concept, I guess, was something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and I think it just was like we finally got to the place where like I thought a lot more people were ready for it. And so it is like a John boat to some people. You look at it and you're like, well, geez, that 2 up, 1 up, lots of gear, square stern, lots of room. It's definitely like a little bit like a John boat. But I've been wanting to make a boat that had a deck you could stand on for a long time, and that was, I would say, like, for me, that was kind of the central focus of it. And then figuring out how to make it work in a way that made sense for other reasons, So, like, if you had a deck you could stand on, but the boat was too big and too heavy, that wouldn't make sense to me. If you could stand on the deck, but it wasn't really practical for some reason, again, wouldn't work. So it's just, I felt it took years to kind of come around to like, could we do this? So I guess that's really it. And then the other thing is, I guess I would just say like this was just a boat that I thought that needed to be made, So, and I think the response to it has been kind of like that too. Like I think a lot of people have, there have been a lot of comments about just the naysayer type stuff, but also, man, there's just a huge kind of response of saying, heck yeah, that's what I've been wanting. So,
well, I mean, you look at the way that the industry is moving right now, and especially the bigger tournament series, which tend to drive the smaller tournament series down to grassroots in kind of their direction. But I mean, everything now is forward facing sonar and motors, everything. I feel like if you don't build a kayak, if you're a kayak company and you're manufacturing a new boat and you don't go into that with that being your mindset, then you're missing the fishing market. Now there's always the wreck boat market and the casual angler and stuff like that. But if you don't build your platform geared toward that, then you're missing a good bit of the fishing market in general.
Yeah, it's, the cool thing too is like, this is on the upper end of capacity. It's on the upper end of weight. Definitely for Bonafide. Like, we don't have anything that size. It's not actually any bigger than some of the other boats that are on the market. Some of the other kayaks that are on the market, I guess. But the way that we shot the video, I'm standing behind the boat. I look like an Oompa Loompa standing there with this thing. And it was like a wide angle lens. So every bit that you stand further behind the boat, you just get smaller and smaller. So I think that was part of it too. It was just a funny looking angle for it. But the capacity's all there.
You do look small.
Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see like.
There you go. So on the hatches, what are they comprised of? Is it a thermoform hatch? Like, where are you getting the rigidity to be able to stand and walk on those hatches?
So the hatches are actually roto-molded, just like the boat.
Okay.
And they are, I designed them to be like dual-sided. So it would be similar to like a Yeti cooler lid in structure. So there's structure underneath the hatch. It's not a single wall. And so it's really like it's super solid because all the plastic kind of comes in to meet itself underneath, and it's solid. The forward hatch, that sort of triangular shaped one, that one is not as solid as the one behind it. The one behind it, the big deck part, that one is really like super solid. But I think before we go to final production, I'm going to add a flotation pillar up under there, because the forward hatch there is, the hatch itself is solid. I just want the boat underneath it to be really solid. So I think we're going to add a forward pillar in there to just kind of make sure that it's nice and structurally sound. But
I'm glad you shot the video with adults in the boat too, and not like an adult and a small child standing on the hatch.
Yeah.
That inspires a little more confidence.
Well, you can't, once you see it, you're like, you know what you saw, right? Like two guys, full-size guys, you got Justin, John B, or you got Marshall in there. And obviously, like, maybe that's not how you would envision using it yourself, but you can see who would be in it,
I envision Justin driving my kayak around all the time. Like every tournament, I imagine Justin's in the boat with me.
I tell you what, it's really nice. Like I put my son on the biggest bass he's ever caught the other day out of it. I had a tiller motor mounted in the back, and I had Logan, he's 13, up front. And I was just driving and pointing. So, it was great. But I think Justin will come drive you around a little bit if we ask nice.
I mean, we'll have to get special approval from a tournament director for that. I don't want to get DQ'd for that up front.
We've got some good questions coming in. So this one from Matt Collins. This was before you even came on, Hans. Matt Collins over on YouTube. They have the ability to mount a graph way up front, but does that motor clear the graph when stowed? Very cool concept. So if you have multiple graphs plus the stern mount motor, or the bow mount motor, I'm sorry, will it clear those graphs when you pull it back.
Yes. Now, if you're running, I think if you're running the graphs the size that we had shown on the boat that were on the captain's bridge, I think those are what are those? Anyways, I think they're like 9s or 12s, but those
They look
graphs,
like 12s, but I'm not good with inches, so who knows?
yeah, I think they're 12s. If you mount a graph forward of that front hatch, there are 2 insert mounting points there, and if you mount it straight to the deck, the motor will actually come up over top of it.
Okay. So I saw there was one clip that you just played a minute ago, Jeff, that had the graph mounted on the front with an angler up there fishing during that, using that. Yep, yeah. I think that's it. Yep, that one right there.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
And now, look how much fun he's having. Look at that. Kid's having the time of his life out there.
That shot right there is not exactly like, that's not how I would use it. Like if you have I'll say like a smaller person, like I would put them up there with the, maybe with the graph if they want to read it or whatever. But for me, like as a tandem, that's kind of like a separate thing. But if you want to run the graph up front, I would plan to stand on the main part of the deck there. But the motors do work. There are also other spots up there. So if you wanted to mount graphs to one side or the other, you could do that too. So it doesn't have to be like right down the middle.
I could be guessing, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but I would assume the line of questioning you had would be like, if you're standing up there using forward-facing sonar, staring at the graph while you're, on the trolling motor or spot locked with the trolling motor, what are your options for being able to see your electronics?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and some of that, I think, honestly, we're going to see, as people get these things, we're going to see a bunch of different setups, So I will say, if you're standing on the deck, I know there's been a lot of like discussion around this. Obviously, your weight like shifts forward, so the back of the boat is going to come up, and when it does, you're going to want to have a rudder or something or a motor at the back to help keep it holding position. So if you're fishing into a headwind, that could work really well. But also, like, I designed a rudder mount for the back because you may want to have a rudder back there or a skeg or something. So if that's the way you want to fish, if you want to fish standing on the deck, bow mount motor, that's kind of how you want.
Fishing with Gramps. Is Hans 4'3"? No, Hans is not 4'3". He's a full size adult human.
Yeah, this one right here is the money shot.
That looks crazy.
He's not 4'3".
Look at how big I am, even in comparison to the seat. Like, I feel like you could get two of me in there.
This was built for Yetis. I feel like just giant humans. Levi, I think Levi would do great in this boat.
That's the secret to Bonafide success. They have elves building the kayaks.
Like Santa's workshop out there in North Carolina. Who knew?
We have Kayak Jesus and we have elves. So.
How many German short hairs will this boat hold? Have you tested that yet?
Wow, that's a good question.
That's how I gauge the weight displacement.
How many can you keep on the boat is really, I think that's more the question. Like
0. You can keep 0 on the boat.
Hans, let me ask you this: when you're building something that's so innovative, like something that's a little bit more out there, that pushes the envelope when you're talking about kayak fishing, when you look at the price point, this is, it's a lot better quality than a John boat or pond hopper. Therefore, it's going to be more expensive. When you look at, when I think of that, I feel like, man, whenever they allowed 2 motors on a kayak tournament, I would probably be taking a hard look at that. Mm-hmm. When you think about the market for it, there's the people that say, you want to spend a little bit more on obviously a product that's better, that's going to be more expensive, And how much do you think it would help if at some point they do allow double motors, front and bow on the tournament?
DP.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I think this thing is like, I almost designed it not just for tournaments, but because like it needed to happen for catfish, for hunting. It needed to happen for tandem, obviously, for like variability. So now you got like one boat you could turn into a tournament boat, whether it's two motors or one. If two motors happen, that's cool. But then you got a boat where you can, on a lazy Sunday afternoon, you can turn it into a tandem with your kids, or so you got it's like one boat that gives you these kind of cool options. So I think that's why, more so, like why I wanted to see it happen. But the two motor thing, I mean, it will be a great option for that if that happens, but there are some other, like the PWR, you could put two motors on that too.
Yeah.
And like it would, that they absolutely fly with the stern motor. So I think it's cool. Maybe it's like, I guess, you guys probably are more tuned into this than I am, but only having two motors on the boat, but just being able to use one at a time, something like that seems like that would make a lot of sense. But look, I mean, even if you have two motors on the boat, you still have to have all that weight and batteries and all that stuff. So it's not like you're giving yourself just ultimate advantage. You still have to deal with all the stuff. So I guess to me, cool. Let it happen.
And that's something we've talked about on here before, is no matter the boat, I mean, even if it's a Walmart special, let's say, people are trying to load it up with all this stuff, and there's a safety aspect that's kind of gets thrown out the window sometimes. Putting multiple lithiums and 2x4s and trolling motors on boats. I think something like this, designed with motors in mind, very important, not only for just innovate from an innovation perspective, from a safety perspective too, right? I'm sure that was a big thought process that went into this.
Yep. Look, I mean, if you take a boat like this, it's unweighted, just myself, I'm about 185. In the video, I'm like 95, but but I'm actually about $185. Like when I got in that boat and I just put the NK 300 on it, it was running 6'3", 6'5", so it'll move pretty well like that. But if you load that thing down, you're going to be in that 5.5 to 6 range, right? So it's not like, even with two motors on it, it's not like you're going to go super fast. It's just going to give you better fishability when you get to where you're going, But I agree. Like you could put a motor on just about anything, but the safety is definitely a concern, and having the ability to handle your stuff, is definitely a concern there too.
It's a lot of good
and
comments.
It seems like it's engineered around being able to quickly and easily rig your electronics. Like everything's pretty center positioned in the boat as far as weight distribution goes. You still have dry storage, which is a huge thing for me. Like, it doesn't do you any good if you can have pre-rigged electronics and whatever, but if you can't keep, say your rain gear dry, then you still took an L on that day because you're soaking wet. Is that on the sides of the boat? Is that horizontal rod storage, or is that? So I saw there's a cutout, and I thought there was some attachment that I saw on some Icast photo or video. I can't remember where it was, but I felt like there was horizontal rod storage on there, which is another request of mine.
There is. We're going to ship the. I don't think I have a sample here at my desk, but we're going to ship it with a rod cradle. You can kind of see the back part. You can see it at the back. And so if that's a rod rest with a bungee closure that pulls over the rod, and then the rod tips can lay up under the deck forward. The deck has like a cutaway where the rod tips can go. So it's going to ship with that, and you can use that for horizontal rod storage. But I also put a couple really nice spots where you can mount aftermarket rod cradles like the Yak Attack ones out there. And then and those are really like, I would recommend those more than anything. And that's just because like if especially if you have two people in the boat, you just want your rods kind of out away from you. So if I'm running tandem, I would definitely have like a horizontal rod rest out there. If you're running solo, I don't know. I mean, I think you could. It's just so easy to have your rods right in front of you. So in the solo setup, I would have rods in front of me, maybe some rods right behind. There's actually room on the back of the deck where you could even punch in some flush mounts if you wanted to. There's extra track back there, so you can add rod rests back there too. And then I've got paddle storage back there as well, just so that you want to paddle, but you don't want to have the paddle right in the way. So if you do a breakdown, it'll clip right there on either side of the battery.
How does this unit paddle? Because I've paddled a couple big boats, and it's not something that I enjoy doing by any means.
Well, I will say that it's like I designed it so that you can get a paddle blade to the water, and that's one of the biggest problems is as the seats go up and the boats get wide, you can't even get your paddle blade over into the water. Like you're just hitting the deck. So that's when you see that like kind of weird cut on the side. That's for two things. That's for the paddle blade to get to the water, and then for re-entry if you need to get back in the boat. But really, like if you paddle that thing, it's like paddling any heavy boat. It takes about 3-4 strokes to get it going, and then after you do that, it's moving. But you're talking, I'm going to say like 3 miles per hour, 2.5. You're not like this is not touring kayaking at this point.
Yeah, no, you're doing it because you have to, because your battery died.
That's right. Yeah, you're doing it because you've got to get to shore or get back to the boat ramp. Yeah.
Hans, one of the things that I'm impressed with Bonafide, you see companies like Hobie really leans into their 360 drive. Old Town leans into their guided motors. But you seem to be like the Sweeps Army knife, and everything that you guys do seems to be kind of like the best at it. You seem to I don't know, you got the RVR for rivers, which I think is a great platform. I honestly think right now that's the best kayak for rivers. Then you got the skiff, which is even a tighter niche. Then you bring up the PWR and now this one. It's kind of been in a span of 2 years. What's drive the innovation? What is the company trying to lean on? What are they trying to do with all this niche and products that to my surprise, not because it's Bonafide, but it's hard to find a company that can, go for so many things and do them all well, like you guys have done it.
I appreciate that for sure. That's you've sort of touched on something that is important to me, and that is that when I came back to Bonafide, I wanted to just go into different segments of kayak fishing and say, like, can we just make a really great boat in this area? And so that way, like with the XTR, now we sort of have a boat that covers each sort of capacity lane and covers different kinds of waters. So we don't, now it's, we've got a high capacity boat. We've got a high performance, like kind of all waters boat. We've got a river boat that's really mobile, and then we have a skiff, which is like kind of fun. It does a lot of things. So it's just, I think the plan was to do exactly that, which is to have a good model in these different zones. And that way, if you want to buy a Bonafide, you've got a really good model for it. You can gravitate to what your specific the way you want to fish, you can gravitate to that. You don't have to like make something work for you. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It's hats off to you and everybody at Bonafide, because like I said, you're not just leaning into one product. You're reaching out to different areas, and it's pretty cool to see. I think the innovation and the quality that goes in it speaks for itself.
It's been a lot of fun to do it. It's a little bit scary because sometimes you're like, am I making something like too niche for this area? But then, we kind of know, like, we're in this industry, we're in this area where we're fishing certain waters. We know what works, right? Like river boats, we know what has worked in the past. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could have been improved. And so like I started the river kayak for Bonafide years ago, didn't get it done. And when I came back, I was just like, man, that's the first thing I want to do. So, and so it's just like sort of having the freedom to work on that stuff. And internally, I mean, we have some good people internally that they're willing to sort of let me go for things, so that helps too, for sure.
I think being under that Big Adventures umbrella too, where it's not all the pressure's not on if you're knocking it out of the park or not, right? Like there's a whitewater segment, there's rec boats, like obviously there's, a lot of brands that fall under that. So I think that probably gives you a little more kind of leeway to shoot your shot. And I mean, obviously I think you hit the mark on this, man. I think this is where the sport is going. I think it fits, directly into, kind of the next chapter as we're watching this stuff unfold.
I'm excited for it. I'm amazed at the feedback and all the chatter and all of it. Like, it's really fun to just watch the gallery, like, kind of do its thing, and and all that stuff just makes it more interesting when you get that feedback, even if it's like people going, what is this thing? It's like, all right,
it's a John boat. This ain't kayak fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ever please everybody in any field. It doesn't matter what you're in. You're never going to make everybody happy, ever. We don't every Monday. We've
said it before on here, Ryan. I mean, it's been years since we were kayakers anyway. We've got guys out here that are trying to be bass fishermen. And I think that's the way these platforms are going, to suit the fishermen, not the.
I had the native FX14. That was the last time I was a kayak angler. Yeah, I mean, that was it. Like, if you're not paddling and it doesn't suck completely, then you're not kayak fishing. So
that's definitely the shift in the mindset too. That it's really difficult. Is like we are anglers that find these tiny boats, and we find them great to use. It started for me being a kayaker that, bolted a fishing rod on the deck of a touring boat, but that's not what it is anymore, Right. So that sort of paradigm shift has to happen, and it is, so I think it's cool.
Yeah. I think we could do a quiz, Ryan, on like proper paddle stroke and kayaking skills. And I don't think very many people would pass.
No.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if that's one thing that I think would be really cool, even with these big boats, and they're getting bigger and all that stuff, like, you still need to be able to paddle them sometimes. And like, that is one of those things, it never seems to go away. People are like, my kayak doesn't paddle straight. And it's like,
you don't paddle straight.
You don't paddle straight.
Spoiler alert.
It's you, buddy. Yeah. That's awesome. That's hilarious. We've got a bunch of questions piled up here. Let's see. Well, this one's already been answered. Can you paddle it easily? It's a big boat, but if you know how to paddle right, you can still get it going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use an assault hand paddle and go 3 miles an hour, guaranteed money back.
And as a matter of fact, I still have that one.
Yeah.
I remember
yeah.
those. You thought you were about to get in a brawl out on the water. You got to carry that assault hand paddle with a serrated edge in case you got to chop an angler off of you.
I knew that paddle had made it when Walmart started knocking it off. You know, by a knockoff.
That's how you know.
Paddle sports arrived.
Yeah. Let's see. Megatron over on YouTube. Calvin Johnson. Where are they made?
They're made in Fletcher, North Carolina.
Right outside of Asheville.
Yep.
For people that don't know, don't know where Fletcher is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just south of Asheville.
Yeah, drive past all the homeless people, and then there's Fletcher. JK, anybody that lives in Asheville, I can't tell who's homeless and who lives in Asheville. So
they're aware.
Now that we instigated
Armando is regretting that he shared this to his own page.
I had the Bass and Bruce on my podcast 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Trust me, it's down. That was
You're good.
all right.
Yeah.
You're good then. Chris over on YouTube. Will it come with the second seat that you're seeing in some of these pictures?
Nope. It comes with one seat. It'll come with a seat and a drawer that slides out from underneath, and then the second seat is you'll buy the exact same seat, and it fits up to it. So you exact same system.
Will it come with the motors and graphs?
$27.99.
Yeah, it will not.
Let me ask you this: what are the challenges? Because I noticed, like especially the power, the PWR, and this one, they're really meant for integrate, trolling motors, graphs, and all that. But you know how technology is in the blink of an eye. It's all of a sudden you build the platform, and maybe the connections now, maybe they're rendered, outdated. How much do you worry about that? What type of research do you guys do to try to make sure that you're not building something that adding a feature that a year from now it's going to be obsolete because new technology? Like, do you research for that? What's the new trends? What's moving forward? What changes could there be to connections and adapting to it?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. It is hard to keep up with it,
He's special. It's a big moment for him.
You stop me. It's look, a lot of times it's relying on some like pro staff talking to rigging, the shops that rig, and they're like figuring out like this is a new way that we're doing it. I guess what I'm trying to do is think like in a few years from now, or even 2 years from now, like, is this thing still going to be the right way to rig? Is this going to be the right setup? So that's like, we went with this plate system that's got a gasket and you can pop it off. And if you drill a hole wrong or whatever, you can just throw it away and get a new one. And that system, that makes a lot of sense to me because look, I mean, I get that we could pre-wire boats, but at this level of kayak rigging, how are you going to pre-wire a boat for someone? Yeah. It's like, so to me, it's like if I can give you the tools to be almost drilling your boat free, so you're not having to go in and just punch holes everywhere. At least that's like, now you really have the freedom to like set it up, and you don't have to ruin your boat just to get it rigged. It's like
an open concept platform.
Yeah, and like I saw someone just absolutely trashing this thing as far as like, why didn't you put the motor in the boat, like integrate the motor in the boat? And I'm like, I don't want to, because you know what? We're going to go test a motor this year that's like going to absolutely make that thing haul. Like I don't want to get stuck with a motor system from 2 years ago or a year ago. So
Justin, Justin is now tuned in. Justin, I almost invited you on, but because of Han's small person video, I felt like he deserved it more. I'm sorry, Justin. I'm sorry, but you have been mentioned several times, so I'm sorry.
What's up, Justin?
You know, Hans, you mentioned something about the be able to adapt this boat to new technology, new motors, whatever. It seems like for the price point, it's something that it can kind of grow with you as rules develop, as technology develops. You know, you can buy this, slap a bow mount on it, and that's all you have to put on it, right? And then as things develop, you can switch those, put a stern mount on, 1 graph, 2 graphs. So that concept is very cool. You're not, as soon as you buy it, committed to putting $10,000 worth of electronics on it. You can just grow with it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And really, like the only thing I would say is, like, with some of our other boats, we tend to market them saying, like, you don't even have to have a motor for this. You can just buy the boat, go kayaking, and fish. With this one, I feel like it's almost, we've just crossed over the line where it's like, I probably wouldn't buy this boat until I was ready to put a motor on it somehow. You know, it could be just the cheapest motor you've got. It would work great, but buy the boat and a motor, and you're good to go.
Have you tested any of like the bigger like power pole motors, or like the Lowrance Ghost, or any of the, like, you know, a lot of torque kind of high end deals? Because that's my thing. Like, obviously I went with the autopilot this year. It's got the integrated Ultrex, but I want to go fast. Like, there's nothing that pisses me off more in the morning than everyone launching and I'm like, you know, just playing on my phone. Like, you guys have a good day. I'll see you in a minute. Like, I like bow mount trolling motors for the control and the spotlight part, but you got to figure out how to speed that transit up.
How to get it up. Yeah. We're going to test it with that new Move from PowerPole.
Yep.
I think I'm going to build a special bracket for it first, and just see how it goes. I have a feeling I know how it's going to go, but yeah.
Just rip the inserts out. Sorry about that. It's all right. It's good to see you guys.
Well, I think there's so much power there that it's actually going to start to stern squat the boat a little bit, but because the power's coming from the front, it could go really quick. Like, it could be a pretty fast boat. More power is more speed. Like that, you can cut it any way you want to. I know there's hull speed limitations, but hull speed limitations is still not a maximum. Like, if you put more power on it, it's going to go faster. Now, how much faster? Is it worth the trade-off? That's the big question. But if you put more power on anything, it's going to go some amount faster. So I think you gotta find that balance. Are you worried at all about the structural limitations, like the inserts or the plastic, or is it more so boat performance that limits that? Right now, I mean, I've got really good structure built into it for where the motors go. I just want to, like, I guess to be careful, I just want to make sure, like, I build kind of heavy duty brackets that really distribute that. And then my concern is just, like, the overall safety. Like, how fast can you be going with a bow mount motor and hit a stump? You know, and like that's
well, we've seen videos, not that fast.
Yeah,
you'll roll out of there. You'll roll out of there before you know what happened.
Yeah, that's kind of like so that's a concern. And then, like, the nice thing about stern mount motors is that they do kick up, and you can see stuff coming. So that's nice, but. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this thing should. I'm sure somebody's going to try and get this thing up on plane at some point.
But on 25 Yamaha off the back.
We need to bring gas motors in, Hans. What about gas motors? No.
I'm not going to be the one to, like, to say you should do that. But I'm sure
when the big money comes in, we get the petroleum companies involved in this thing.
Yeah. You pull the gas bladders in there and stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a concern for how much. I think this new Move motor is pretty cool because, in theory, it could replace 2 motors with as much power as it has, and the fact that it's a bow motor. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see.
Ramel's pointing out the NK300 is equivalent
Yeah.
to the Move, but Ramel, the only issue is it's on the wrong end of the boat. that's the only true. You can't spot lock with that thing yet. I think that's the. I mean, to me, the biggest advantage of a bow mount. There's not another advantage to the bow mount at all, other than staying in position when you're trying to fish a grass line or, sitting on a rock pile or something. You're not having to constantly readjust the boat. And when you go to a paddle boat that's all motor, I think those adjustment increments are a lot more critical than something, that had a pedal drive or something where you can just, quickly put your feet up on the pedals and make an adjustment back to the spot. I think that's where bow mounts are tending to kind of draw the crowd on this thing, because you're not having to go back and kind of reinvent the wheel there, going back to your pedal drive that you've tried to eliminate from the beginning.
Yeah. I will say that the new foot braces with a stern mount motor, especially with like the NK300, would be that would be pretty slick for, like, if you wanted to run a stern mount, that would be the most accurate way to steer, especially if you're trying to hold a spot. It's the new foot braces are going to be so good for that, and so then you would have your speed getting to where you need to go, and then a pretty nice way to hold position. So Ramel's not wrong there, because it's that NK300 is pretty fast right now.
Ramel's never been wrong. I've checked his stats.
Yes.
Ramel has never been wrong one time ever. So Justin, by the way, I sent you the link. You have the opportunity to jump on and get your shine here. I would never keep that from you, pal.
Hence, does the foot steering come with it, or that's an add-on?
That's an accessory.
Oh.
It's going to come with our Bonafide foot braces that they can convert to sliders, so you can turn them into a foot steering. But they've always been a little sticky over, like you get a little grit in there, and then you got to keep going back and like cleaning them out and stuff. And so, this is something that's really cool, because this is like, it's so easy to steer the new foot braces. You really just you can just steer with a toe. You're not having to really just push on the pedals that hard. So it's pretty cool.
I was trying to get through. Is there a rudder system for this if you don't want to put a stern mount on there?
Yeah, so it will mount a rudder just like some traditional boats. It'll mount we have a Bonafide rudder system, and you can set it up with that. I'm going to do a little bit more testing with that. I don't know. It may be that you're going to want a rudder blade that's a little deeper or bigger, just if you're fishing in windy environments. But it's set up so that you can run a rudder off the back, and then who knows, maybe we'll just ask the industry to out there if somebody wants to develop a bigger an XTR rudder or something like that, or maybe we'll do it too. But if Catch or somebody wants to do a cool rudder blade for it, we could.
Hey, Catch they'll turn your whole boat aluminum if you want them
to. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. See, we've got some more questions. Start up here. Let's get some of these real quick. Sort of answered that already. Yak and Grass asked, what about Bonafide foot steering? When can we get that? Is there a release date on that?
We plan to ship that in the fall. I would say it'll probably be October when we'll be able to ship it. So we're still working on the the final price of it, kitting and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's, it takes a little bit more time than you would hope, because that's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Back over on Facebook, TJ Akins, I'm sorry. What's the weight rating on the standing deck?
I don't, I haven't set that yet. I would say, like, if you can stand in the main deck of the boat, you can stand up on the deck, on the upper deck. I don't know how else to say it. It's as solid as it can be. If you're, you saw Chad standing up there in that video, and like, I don't know. I think it's going to be fine. Like I would say it's all standable.
Yeah, and this was somebody on Facebook asked 6'3", 300 pounds, wanted to see someone his size walk around, take it out on the water on the deck. You know, I know Chad's not 6'3", but he may hit the other number, and he was walking around on the deck. So there you go. There's your answer.
Yeah, it's pretty stable. It's 40 inches wide. Chad's he is 300 pounds. So yeah. Actually,
sorry, I was trying to skip to the next scene. I'm not taking the heat for this shit. All right, guys, y'all go ahead.
I'm not body shaming here. I'm the guy.
This is not on my tab. This is not on my tab. This is not on my tab. Proceed. Go ahead. That's my disclaimer.
The dude asked a question. I'm trying to answer it over here, Ryan. For God's sakes. Let's
yeah, I had Gene. So I had Gene and Chad in the boat. And that's 500 pounds.
There you go.
So that puts us at 665, and then we had a bow mount motor and batteries. So we were at about 700.
Yeah, there you go. It's science, facts, right?
Facts.
So it's solid boat. What this man's saying.
Do you have? I mean, I can't imagine what other niche there is for fishing platform, but is there? Not that you have to be specific, but is there plans to make another a new platform, you know, for fishing out there that's not already in your lineup? I'm trying to put some seriousness into this.
Like,
I'm sorry, Hans. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ryan's trying to pull it back together.
I'm done. We can wrap this up. Go ahead, please answer. Answer young Armando.
Like what was the question?
Like you have the RVR, the skiff, the PWR, the and now these XTR. Is there something new along the way? So you don't have to be specific. Hey, but
yeah.
Is there something new that you guys plan along the way? Or is that it? Is this it? And then now you're gonna build upon what you have, or do you have something else coming up that's new?
Well, one thing is I think because this thing is like it's gonna just go across like so many different types of anglers. I think I'm gonna lean into the accessories for it. So I think like, you know, the duck blind type stuff, maybe a push pole deck for it. So we can go towards the flats type thing. So it's just, I think we're going to just knock out some accessories first. But yeah, I mean, there's already like stuff in Bonafide that needs like refreshed. I'll say like refreshing. It's not really, but yeah, there's a lot to work on all the time. It's a constant. So
we got one more question in the queue, Hans, if you don't mind. Dan over on Facebook, basically floor design similar to the Unlimited new canoe. Does that have anything to do with the fact that Big Adventures molds new canoes too? I don't know that it is similar looking from the top down. Is that?
I think
accurate?
he means that it's open. that you can walk. I don't know. That's a guess. A new canoe has the tracks in the floor of the kayak, correct?
No.
Yeah, they run. They're kind of in the floor, but a little elevated. But yeah, I mean that's a good question. I mean, I put a seat on long tracks on a boat that Shane Williams really likes, called the Attack years ago. So
I remember that guy.
I love that boat too, Hans. I had it. I love that.
Honestly, that boat is probably revered as one of the best kayak fishing platforms ever. Super fast, stable, easy to rig. I think still today that is at the top of a lot of people's lists.
It's a really neat boat. If it had a little bit more volume, it would have helped out, you know, for like certain environments. But you know, the core idea of that boat was that the seat rode on tracks like that, and it had an open deck, so you could kind of move the seat around. And it turned into something different. Nobody really moved the seat after they got it positioned where they wanted it to be. But the open concept like that's not really new, but New Canoe does a really nice job. Like their boats are pretty cool in how you can adjust them and set them up. So I would say more than anything, the fact that that New Canoe Unlimited, you can add a seat up front if you want. And so I think they're kind of similar in that way.
Right. Other than that, I mean, never fished out of a New Canoe, but it's a wide open deck. Almost all of them are. Whereas this XTR seems to have multi layers, a lot more options to hide things away, if you will.
Yeah. And I think one thing that that is going to be a little different on this one too with the deck is that like your storage, where you store your stuff, is going to change on this boat, because on a lot of boats like a Hobie in particular, or even the PWR, there's a lot of storage behind you, and in this boat there's a lot more room in front of you, and you don't have to worry about accessing it, so you don't have to have it behind you. So it's you have to change your mindset a little bit on how to set it up.
The comment section has been solid gold tonight. So if you're listening to the audio podcast, you need some entertainment, go watch the YouTube just for the comment section.
No, it's been a great show. We appreciate you coming on here, Hans, and expanding on what everybody's already seen the social media post, probably watched the video too, but kind of answering some questions and expanding on this platform. Very cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Hopefully y'all can go check it out and see what you think about the XTR.
No, I can't wait. Like I said, I mean, I made the comment on the original post. Like, I think it looks like a fantastic platform. It looks like it's geared toward where kayak fishing is now, and then, where it seems to be trending toward. So great job.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's going to be cool. Hopefully we can get these things shipping pretty soon, and we'll have them out the door this fall.
There we go,
like
man.
it. Appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks.
There you go.
Okay, take it easy.
Oh,
one of the OGs. OGs. He's been at it for a while, and obviously pays close attention to kind of the state of the sport, which I think is something a lot of companies can take note of. Like, when you have these designers going in, you want them to know what's happening. Like, don't go in and design a boat because you had a dream last night. Like, pay attention. Yeah. Pay attention to what's going on.
Well, I think he said something while we were talking to him there, that they wanted to make a boat that was elite at these different things, a river boat, a boat made for motors, rather than trying to fit it all into one, which can kind of turn out sort of cumbersome. We didn't talk to him about that, but the Bonafide pedal boat that they came out with, it was kind of that. It was a little bit too much in one boat, and they've kind of gone back to these specialized boats, which is better. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think they're leaning on a lot into the adding motors to it, because that, like you mentioned, that's where it's going. I think kayak fishing, it's kind of dead. We know nobody fish out of a kayak. I mean, even the river guys use motors on them, so they're leaning into that. I did like his honesty when asked about, can you use a paddle on it? And he was honest. It's like, this is not the kayak that you want to buy if you're not going to put a motor in it. Yeah. And I appreciate
if you've ever tried to paddle a big kayak, especially in the wind, that's the last thing you want to do with your day. Like, if you can get the Coast Guard over there, just do that first. Like, you do not want to try to paddle any of these big boats in the wind.
Like he said, that is to, either push away from the shore or dock in after you're done fishing. But other than that, you should not be using your paddle for anything.
Yeah. It's an emergency only.
Yep.
There we go. Armando, appreciate you, man, coming here and sitting in with us tonight, giving us your recap.
Appreciate you guys. It's always an honor to be here.
Yeah, man.
It was fun. I hope you were entertained, Armando. We tried really hard.
Always.
My goal every show is to get Ryan either almost turning his camera off or
brother.
We almost did it tonight.
You succeeded. Yeah. Yep. Great job. That's it.
It was fun.
COVID. Solid.
It's a COVID. I don't know where I am right now.
I can't wait to check my email in the morning.
Yeah. let's do this Revo giveaway. Let's see who's gonna win tonight. Who's gonna get slow rolled tonight? I should have came up with a different hashtag after those shenanigans, but this will work. Revo win. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Da-da-da. No Twitter tonight, by the way. It wouldn't let me stream over there.
Where
Green
are our
Fever.
Twitchers? I like that.
Green Fever.
Okay.
30.
Okay.
That's the new thing coming out this fall. Green Fever. There it is. So Green Fever, I don't know your name, but reach out, kayakbassnation@gmail.com, or just hit one of us up on Facebook if you do have a Facebook and enter DMs. We'll get you a code.
Sounds good. Well, fellas, I'm going to go back out to my garage and try to find where I hid my throttle so I can go fish this weekend, I think.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Appreciate you, Armando.
Appreciate
Later, boys.
you guys. Have a great day.